Welcome back SQL enthusiasts. I'm Himavant, and in this chapter 6 of Star Agile's exclusive SQL learning series, we'll be discussing about the different type of SQL commands. If you have missed any of the previous videos, please do click on the link above. If you are someone looking to master SQL and earn a professional certification, you can go through our DevOps course link, which is attached in the description. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. Okay, so in this video, we'll be discussing about what and all the different type of SQL commands we have, guys. Okay, so basically when I say SQL commands over there, so mainly they are divided into 5 different types, guys. Okay, so if you get any question like how many type of SQL commands we have, means we should not start with the select or insert or create like that. Okay, so how the command is used over there, so depending on that they are structurized into 5 different types, guys. Okay, so mainly what we need to say, how many type of SQL commands we have, means total we have 5 different type of SQL commands here, and how they are divided and what are those commands, we'll look into this elaboration now. Now, how many types the SQL commands we have? 5 types of SQL commands. In this, the first one is DDL commands, guys. So DDL stands for data definition language. Okay, and what is this DDL and why this data definition language commands are used is basically if you want to deal with the structure of the table. So first, what and all the commands comes under the DDL are, first one is create, next alter, next rename, drop, and next is truncate. Okay, so these are the 5 different type of commands what we have under the DDL case. And for what this mainly the DDL commands are used is to deal with the structure of the table. Okay, so when I say structure of the table, means what and all modifications or what and all you want to do related to the data table over here, everything you can do it by using this DDL commands, guys. Okay, so like create is used to create a new table. Alter, next alter is used for what, means if you want to do any modifications on this structure of the table, like for example I want to add a new column for the table, or I want to remove a column from a table, or I want to change the data type for a particular column, or if I want to change the name of the column itself. Okay, so likewise any modifications on the structure of the table, you can use this alter command. Next, rename. So rename is used to change the name of the table. Let's say for example I have a table called as students. Okay, so I want to change that particular name to the my students. Okay, so likewise let's say employees is the table name, and I want to change the name of this table as employee details. Likewise any name if I want to change for a table over there, I can use this rename option. Next one is drop. So drop is used to remove the table completely from the database. So whatever the database you have, in that particular database any tables, if you want to remove those particular tables from the database, then you can use this drop command. So overall any command you see over here, they are talking about the structure or the table itself. Okay, now I am not talking about any data. Okay, I am not talking about the data within the table. I am only dealing with the structure of the table. So mainly for what DDL commands are used to deal with the structure of table. So anything related to the table structure, we'll use this DDL commands case. Next, second one, we have DML. So DML stands for data manipulation language. Okay, so data manipulation language. And what are the commands we have under the DML are insert, update, delete. Okay, so these are the three commands what we have under the DML case. And for what this DML commands are used is to deal with the data within the table. So to deal with the table, we have seen we need to use DDL commands. Okay, so now to deal with the data within the table, we need to use DML commands. Okay, so for what this DML commands are used? To deal with the data within the table. Okay, so like inserting a data. Let's say if I want to insert a data, I'll use a command called as insert. If I want to update some data, so for example, when I'm inserting certain employees details for one person, instead of inserting Ramesh, I've inserted Ram. Okay, so then I want to change it. Okay, or else for a certain employee, I want to change the hiring date, or else for a particular employee, I want to change the salary. Okay, likewise, any of this data which is already inserted, so insert a new record, I'll use a command insert. Once the data is inserted, then if I want to do any changes on that particular data, then I'll use the update command. Okay, so for what? Update is used to update the data which is already inserted. Next one is delete. So delete is nothing but deleting the data. So this insert, update and delete, these are used for the data itself case. So by the name or this second type of commands what I am mentioning, DML, data manipulation language, these commands are used only to deal with the data within the table. To deal with the structure of the table, we'll use the DDL commands, and to deal with the data within the table, we'll use the DML commands. Okay, so this is for what DML commands are used. So basically, to deal with the data within a table, we'll use the DML commands over there. So to insert a new record, insert command. Once after the record is inserted, if I want to modify any data, then update command. Once after the data is updated or inserted, if I want to delete a specific record from a table over here, then I can use this delete command over here. Okay, so anything you talk about this DML commands, they are dealing with the data within the table itself. Next one is DQL, data query language. Under this, we have one particular command which is called as select case. So select is one particular command which is there under this DQL. And for what this select is used is, select is used as a print statement. Okay, so select will work as a print statement in the SQL. What is meant by the print statement? To see any data over here. Okay, so to create a table, we'll use the DDL commands, means to deal with the table, we'll use the DDL commands and we'll create a table. Okay, so once after we create a table, then either to insert, update or delete, means to deal with the data. Let's say to insert a data into a table, I'll use the DML commands. Once after we insert this data into a table over here, then I want to check. Okay, I want to see what is the data I have in that particular table over here. So then I can use this select command over here. So select is not like selecting over there. So select in the SQL, it will work as a print statement. Whatever you want to print from the data over here, you will use this print statement, which is select case. So there are so many functions. Okay, there are so many functions which you can work on this select data over here, select command. These are DQL commands, which is only select. Next, fourth one, TCL. So TCL stands for transaction control language. Okay, so TCL will stand for transaction control language, under which I have the commands like commit, rollback, save point. Okay, so these are the three commands what I have under this TCL commands. And for what this TCL commands are mainly used is to change the structure of saving of data. Okay, so when I say structure of saving the data, in the sense whatever the commands you execute, either it's a DML or DDL or any of the commands, they will be automatically saved in your database case. So for example, this DDL commands, what we have, insert, update or delete, what I can do with those three commands, I can deal with the data. To insert, I'll write a command starting with insert. To update, I need to write a command which is starting with update, and to delete, I need to write a command which is starting with delete over here. Okay, likewise to insert, update and delete, these commands are used to deal with the data within a table. Okay, and once after you execute any of the DML command, they are automatically saved into the database case. So once after you write a command to delete from a table over there, and once you are deleting a data from the table, you cannot retrieve it back again. Okay, so but the way how it is structurizing or how it is saving over there automatically, to change the structure, I can use this TCL commands over here, which are commit, rollback and save point over here. So next one is data control language. So under which we have two commands, which are grant, revoke. Okay, so these are the two type of commands what we have under the DCL. And for what this DCL commands are used to, or else for permissions related. Okay, so basically these DCL commands are used for the permissions related, like a person is joining into the company. Okay, then I need to give certain access for that person, then grant. Or if a person is relieving from the company, then I want to revoke the permissions what I have provided for that person. That is called as revoke here. So basically data control language are the commands which are used for the permissions related. And also this data control language or this grant and revoke permissions will not be provided for all the employees in a company. Okay, it's nowhere a use of doing that, right? So generally what I can do with this DCL commands grant and revoke means, if a particular person is joining, I can give an access to that particular person based on under which department he is working over here. Okay, so likewise revoke also I can remove. Okay, I can remove the credentials. Okay, so I'll give a simple example. Okay, so let's say there is a server where I have the data of this digital marketing in one database. There is another database for IT. Okay, so there is another database for finance. Okay, so for these are three different type of databases what and all I have in a server case. Now out of this data over here and this grant and revoke, using those two commands over here, I can, okay, so I can give permissions for a particular person, and who will have this permission or who will have access to this grant and revoke permissions is there are specific job roles. Okay, so there are specific job roles over there which we can call them as database administrator. Okay, or we can also call them as DBA, database administrators. These are the only people who will have an access to this grant and revoke permissions case. So because this grant and revoke cannot be provided for all the other people who are working in the company. Okay, because these are the commands which will give you access for a certain data over here. Okay, so that is why this DCL commands, this grant and revoke, are provided only for a specific job roles itself, which we'll call them as database administrators over here. Okay, like if a person is relieving from this digital marketing company, so I'll revoke the permissions for that person and I'll revoke the access what it is provided, the username and all. Let's say if a person is joining into this IT department. Okay, so if a person is joining into the IT department over here, then I need to give access for that particular person. Okay, so then we'll get the credentials from this database administrator, where using them I can log in into this IT department database over here. Okay, so this is how the DCL commands will work, data control language over here. So now I hope everyone got an idea about what and all the different type of SQL commands we have. So which are DDL commands, DML commands, DQL commands, TCL commands and DCL commands over here. So these are the 5 different types, out of which are every other commands have their own speciality case. I cannot say that one is mainly important over there. Why? Because if I want to deal with the table, if I want to deal with the structure of the table, I'll use DDL commands, right? So to create a table or to alter a table, any changes on this particular table structure, DDL commands. Or else once after this table is created, within that if I want to insert any data, okay, or if I want to cross check with any certain data over there, then I can use this DML commands, which will deal with the data within the table. Next one is DQL. So DQL commands over here, which is select. So select is the one which is used just to print the data. So any data from any table if you want to print, you can use the select command over here. Next, TCL commands. So to commit, rollback and save point, means basically to change the structure of saving the data over there, we can use this TCL commands over here. Next, control language. So for the control language, so we have only 2 commands over here, which are grant and revoke. Okay, so these are permissions related. Okay, so mostly used data over here is, or mostly used commands over here are, which are DDL, DML and DQL guys. Okay, so these are the commands, how they are segregated. So it's not about one will be somewhere and one command is so and so. If there is no interlink over there, how you can identify what kind of a command it is? So that is why they are properly segregated over here based on the usage of that particular command. Okay, so this is how we have 5 different type of SQL commands guys. That's wrap for this chapter guys. So let's meet in next episode for this SQL series.